Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU and this winter is the winter of my time. I hope it sounded dramatic enough. Either way, what I'm trying to say more or less is that I may or may not be recording this videocast. I mean, the intro to this videocast is being recorded for more or less the 7th time, and this entire videocast is recorded for the 2nd time. Because previously I didn't like what I did at all, as in I was talking way too much about the custom faction competition. And I think it's okay to talk about it a little bit, but not to just keep talking about it, and that's what more or less I did. And when I realized that, I was like, well, I've got a video pretty much recorded already, what do I want to do next? And I was like, I wanted to record it again, because it wasn't particularly good in any way, shape or form, and you deserve better, because you are great. So yeah, I'm here doing again things that I was doing before, so I may be doing them a little bit fast, so let me try to explain what I'm doing in every step. So first things first, in terms of research, the most important research for me right now are the stockpiles, and after that mining rights. Reason why I want stockpiles is because many of my cities have nothing to do. Roundster, for example, there's nothing I could make in there, except maybe assault the earth or make more armies, but there's no point in making armies since I will not use them anyway. I'm going to win this game regardless of what happens now. AI is way too dumb, and I have 5 cities now, and 1 is incredibly powerful with 9 population, 2 are very nice with 5, and 2 are also not too shabby either with 4. It's like there's no stopping to the Broken Lord's machine right now, they are broken at this point in time. Partially because of the happiness bug, which is still persisting, unfortunately. As you can see, those people are not supposed to be fervent, only happy, only, right? Still, either way, you know what I mean. And right now, this is such a widespread issue that I'm not willing to compensate anymore, but since we are out of early game, it doesn't matter as much, especially since at this point in time, you know that you are going to win. AI is simply too dumb to make anything change at this point, because I have too many cities. Even if they somehow take 1 or maybe even 2 of them, I can still make an army fast enough to survive the attack. This is something that will be changed as this game develops. AI will be more smart, and there will be multiplayer as well to compensate for AI ineptitude. But right now, I know I'm safe. So what is the point of watching this videocast any further, you may ask? Well, there are still some things I can teach you about. For example, decisions that you need to take into consideration when things happen. Wow, that is super descriptive. But, for example, we barely explored our faction quest because we didn't have too much of occasion to do it because of how difficult the third quest is actually to achieve. And then again, there are some unexpected things that also may happen. That is simply the truth. And there was also something else that I forgot. We are yet to reach Era 3, and Era 3 is kind of important for obvious reasons. It is the next era, there are quite a few things that I need to explain about it, especially in the Broken Lords context. And in general, you may simply enjoy this video. I mean, you may not, but maybe you will, maybe you will. Anyway, got extra dust, which is nice, not exactly the most important thing ever, considering my current situation on dust, which I have a lot of, but it's nice. And I think you may start to understand what I mean when I say that right now there's no way I can lose. I started rolling as the Broken Lords. If you go ahead and look at my dust reserves, you can see that if I need to buy out something, anything really, I can buy it out. I mean, those borrowed streets, they cost 600 something. Borrowed streets in Rothard should be more expensive, but then again, I already started walking on them, so they're not. If I want to buy out a Dust Bishop, no problem. Do you see how much it costs? 200 something. I can buy dozens of them. Not literally, but close to it anyway. If I have to do anything, I can do that. And in 110, I'll have access to stockpile. So all this industry that I'm not using anyway, I'll also be able to stockpile and buy out things with industry as well as dust. So really, at this point, there is little challenge, and I'm simply going to win. This is the power of the Broken Lords. Of course, same can be said about other factions as well, especially in the current stage of the alpha, when, as I said before, AI can be abused so easily. However, with Broken Lords, this is the most obvious fact, and I predict that this is how the Broken Lords are going to continue being played as, even as the game develops, even after AI is smarter, even after multiplayer has been added. I think I can safely auto-battle this thing, there's no danger whatsoever, yep. Because Broken Lords are supposed to be like that. You're not supposed to be working with your cities alone, you're working with your entire empire. And you can basically, after some point, just buy out whatever it is that you need. You cannot necessarily build everything as fast as, well, for example, Wild Walkers could. And you cannot simultaneously build things in multiple cities as well as other factions could, yes. But if there's one city that you need to, for example, make incredibly powerful all of a sudden, or just buy out a bunch of units to create an army to stop a sudden invasion that you didn't expect. With Broken Lords, more so than with anybody else, you can do it. And it's relatively easy to achieve as well. Which is the power of the Broken Lords, something that I always liked about them, something that I also said that is very powerful about them. And in general, they are just awesome in this regard. Alright, there is a river over there, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, there is indead. So Roughhout finally can have a use for dust builders. Not really of center for seas and rivers, which is always so funny how it's a center for rivers, but it doesn't benefit your rivers. After this city is done with that, let's just go ahead and keep expanding west, because this city has another population. There's no point in expanding it even more. And since this is a city where apparently I have a lot of population, I could go ahead and buy out even more population. But at this point, I think I'm just going to go ahead and put more population into my 4 population cities, because it is simply cheaper. And if I can, I'll put even more population, because I can, which is what I just did. And those people are happy when they're supposed to be content. I know it's a bad thing. I'll try to deal with that by entering into Era 3 as soon as possible and gaining the happiness stack, which will hopefully mitigate a bit of this injustice. But right now, I'm simply intending to roll with it, because quite frankly, as I said, I'm going to win regardless. Even if all my cities suddenly turn into a rebellion, they cannot truly rebel against me. They'll just give me big penalties to fits in general, and that's about it. And I'll still have my big advantage. I'll still gain a lot of dance pattern. I'll still have my powerful armies. And while my armies are not numerous, they are powerful, because AI doesn't know how to equip items. This is why I think that after I'm done with Voltus and Broken Lords playthroughs, I'll most likely wait with my Necrophagus playthrough until Alpha has developed a little bit more. Maybe until other mages are added, which is something that is coming, but not quite yet. You will have to wait a little bit longer. It's quite a bit longer, in fact. But it will come someday, don't worry. Anyway, summer has suddenly returned, which will allow me to settle a new city, which is something we wanted for a long time. At least, I don't know if we, but certainly I wanted it. So, again, I'm going to settle it right in the middle of this spot to have access to a lot of dust and finally fulfill my quest. And in return, again, access to Dust Crematorium, which simply flat out does not work, which is unfortunate. But then again, it would make me even more of a part than I already am, so it might be for the best. Now I need to build a watchtower and pacify all manufactured villages, of which all of them are pacified, so all I have to do now is to create a watchtower. Let's create a watchtower next to undiscovered terrain, since I might not bother exploring it with scouts anytime soon, so let's do just that. Buy it out for a ton of dust, which is not something I care about too much, and then buy out as much population as I can. 4 will do the trick. And because I'm going to now try and set up the city as soon as possible, I'm going to give it extra population into production, which I'll use then to buy out numerous things. I mean, I can buy out employment right away, same goes for Mill Foundry, and now Public Library. I'll start working with my production. What else do I need? That's it, probably even more so than Public Library, just because I am, after all, a Broken Lord, and I care about this kind of stuff. I can now also assimilate Seratan, which I'll never do if I would have to sacrifice Delvers, which are essential to my plans. I mean, at this point they are not essential, as I explained, I'm going to win regardless, but Delvers are just so beneficial, they are very important. Right, I keep exploring for a new city in this purple territory, and I found it, so it is good. I can declare war on this AI. Which is actually, I just realized I was supposed to turn around and conquer this city with this army. But I guess I could try doing it with this army, but it is far, far smaller than any other armies. So I guess I'll have to just send an army from Jala still, even though it is quite far away. But I might as well let it start walking in this particular direction. It will cost me a bit of dust, but hey, I'm fine with that. And I shouldn't have spent all this dust on producing those kind of things, because I should actually just make some more Star Wars in this army. Now, this army already has 1 Star Wars, so I want to go for a Dust Bishop before, I mean 1 Star Wars and 1 Dust Bishop will do. It will not be a maxed out army, keep in mind I'm pretty sure right now I can have 6 units in a single army. but this will mostly do. Alright then, I'm still a little bit sick by the way, if you asked, so my commentary may not be exactly the best, but I'm going to try what I can. So, our faction quests have finished, and I have access to Martin de Iladan de Sulezzo, which is a guy, spoilers, we'll have to kill later down the line. Anyway, right now he's a new Marquis, he's a fairly good hero, nothing special, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I wonder if his abilities are randomized, because I could swear that usually he's better than he is right now. I mean, last time I got him, he was better than my main hero, so there is that. Anyway, speaking of my main hero, the guy I leveled up, where are you? There we are. So let's go ahead and give him the appropriate skill and... What? I swear, I ever swear I gave this guy bonus to... Oh no, I didn't have enough glass steel to give him the bonus to dust per population of the city, did I? Alright then, well now I do, so let's do just that, thank you very much game. And also the guy leveled up and I forgot to level him up. Or did I? That's the wrong hero, alright. Right, because there's a little bug, as you can see this guy is actually Martin or Marquis. And he still has the icon for the other hero, which can be relatively confusing, but don't get too confused about it. Alright, so this guy is here, I might as well give him those 2 tokens because while I have him, I might as well make the best use of him. Right now it does look like he's the kind of hero that is better as an army leader. And last time I got him, he was an amazing governor, so I'm not sure if it's just randomized or indeed if it's something that the devs simply changed over the time. I might as well unequip this equipment, but there's no point in doing so since, you know, it's already equipped, might as well leave it there. I'll give this guy access to my new city because, as you may notice, right now I'm supposed to assign him to one of my cities for 10 turns. And I also need to advance one of my cities to level 2 in terms of districts or city center. It doesn't have to be the same city, by the way, I can do it in any city. I just need to have a level 2 something in one of my cities. So anyway, wait, what? No. Select, not inspect, and there we go. Now my hero is governing this city, which is giving me even more dust, which is nice. I can change my empire plan. I might actually stick to what I have right now. Or, you know what, just to offset the imbalance of my happiness, I can go for extra happiness. I mean, this is not what I want to go for, but this would make up for it, but no. Let's not do that. Why? Honestly, it is supposed to be a guide, and if you are a sane person, you will never resign from going into economy and population as a broken lords. And as you can see, I cannot go for both right now. So let's just play as you would want to play if you were to play properly, and go for those 2 particular empire plans, which is going to work just fine for us. Alright, so now I just need to pump some sensitive technology, just advance it to era 3, even though those particular texts that I have access to right now are not entirely very useful. So hey, stop scrolling around screen. Right, so something that I will have a use of potentially will be a quarry, something else will be extra accessory slots, and after that I guess I could go for some extra experience creation at unit. I guess I'll do just that. So I'll do this, and then tell my units to continue moving, and I'll probably declare war on the voters, because might as well. The city is right there, ready for the taking, and I'll gladly take it. And also just going to level up my units ever slightly as well. And as I said before, you need them to level up because of your faction quest, which is something I got stuck on last time I played as Broken Lords for a very long time, because it's sometimes rather difficult to level your dust bishops to the required level. Right now they're level 5, which is still nowhere near close enough. Yes, I want to declare war. Yes, declaration of war, make an offer. It's not really an offer, but whatever. Let's besiege the city and let's take it. Will they defend it? Yes, with dawn officers. Why not kill them with manual mode? I mean, we might as well. Oh, sorry, I feel slightly worse now. It's nothing bad that though. So, can I enter the battle? Yes, I can. There we go. So let's move everybody forward. Yes, I will be closer to those, how they call it, dawn officers. Do I care, however? No. I'm going to win anyway, and my Dutch bishops are not the worst frontline units, as you probably figured out already. So let's keep moving forward. You guys, you dear sir, or a lady. No, it's a sir. Keep making this mistake. I don't know if it's a sir or a lady. It's quite frankly kind of difficult to tell. Anyway, you walk over there, I guess, or there, whatever. Just people, do your stuff. You're going to kill everybody anyway. You might as well just fire randomly at random targets. There is no way I'm going to lose anyway. I mean, look at this critical, one hit kill. This pot should be even one hit kill without the critical, but there was a critical, so it was even more so of a kill than it could have been. So yeah. Should I mention the topic of faction, custom faction competition? Did I do it already in this video? I don't think I did. I was wary of mentioning this topic because it's what ruined my last video. But I guess I'll talk a little bit about it and just state that I should stop taking part in those competitions, really, because every time there is one, I put a lot of time and work into my entry, as in really a considerable amount of time. I think about what would fit the gameplay and the game itself well. I make sure that it is something interesting and innovative. And then what happens, I enter the competition, I start by doing amazingly well. I mean, I always, and I do mean it, always, in those polls, I'm number 1 or number 2 on the first few days. Already the first day, to be more precise. And this happened again in this case as well. And then I just fall flat on my face. Right now I'm in the competition pool, I'm not 4th, I'm 5th. I've been overtaken again, and I may be overtaken yet again before the pool ends, which would at this point break my heart. And I guess that in this case it can be partially explained because I'm quote-unquote popular. Not really, no, I'm just a little bit more known now than I was before. But I guess this could explain the surge of entries I got at the start of this competition, but that doesn't apply to all the other competitions I was a part of in the past. So I think it's just my karma. I start off well, and then when I get my hopes up and start believing I can actually win, that's when it's like, no, you're going down big time. It's really kind of depressing, it really is. Oh well, what's even more depressing is that neither of the factions that are going to win are the factions that I believe fit Endless Space, Endless Legend relatively well. I'm going to ban the city, there's no reason to have it, by the way. It's lowering my global happiness, it's in the middle of nowhere, it doesn't have a lot of dust income and it only has 4 population, let's raise it. So anyway, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like I don't like those ideas. For example, Nels Cult of the Eternal End, which will probably win, because it's kind of one-sided right now. This idea, yeah, I like it. I just don't think it fits this game, but it's my personal opinion. It's not to say that that Nos didn't put a lot of effort into this entry. He obviously did. There is a lot of love put into it, and a lot of thought, and in general, it's just very well polished. But in my personal opinion, it just doesn't fit the game too well. It's great, but it doesn't fit the game too well. I hope I'm clear. It is great. Alright, I really don't want to think that I'm actually hating it, because that is far from it. There are other entries that I don't actually like, whereas his entry I legitimately do like, I just don't think it fits the game well. Have I said it enough times already? Jeez. Sometimes I'm just being super secure, because sometimes I feel like, oh, you're salty because you're not number 1. No. I was hoping to win games together vote, but I never really expected that to be the case. I know that my ideas are usually not the most popular ones, that's the fact. I mean, this time I'm not sure if I simply didn't overdo the uniqueness. I mean, Messiah are very unique, and they have very unique theme around them that is very heavily centered around minor factions, which was the theme of the competition, by the way. So I decided to go all out in terms of that, and I did. And some people liked this idea, but other people probably were just a little bit too confused, for that my faction is just too complicated and whatnot, and I can understand this. I guess I'm trying to be too good every time, and I just overcomplicate things. Or maybe people just like the idea of floating self-flying cities, which is also possible, but I'll not talk about it, too much about it, because I still think that the competition would have been better if the devs explained if those things are actually achievable. Right now I have no confirmation if that is or is not the case, and there could be some repercussions as a result of that, which I will not be a big fan of, especially if I lose to a faction that cannot be implemented in the game in the way it is right now. And trust me, the fact that those top 2 and 3 factions have flying/swimming cities, that is the main selling point, I bet. I mean, in fact, that is the core mechanic, in fact. So it is obviously the selling point, because that's what they are designed around. And again, I'm not saying that those are bad entries, I'm just saying that those are the selling points which I personally am not sure if they are implementable in this game. It's something that the devs should have cleared up, but they didn't, unfortunately. It happens. Anyway, let's stop talking about this. I already talked a little bit too much about it, but at least I didn't talk very in depth into that. If you're more If you are interested in it and you want to learn more about this general subject, then I encourage you to just read the threads and topics in Endless Origin Games Together forums. Because there's plenty of topics that talk a little bit about how this pool could have been handled better. Most people, including myself, think that the devs should have just personally read all the entries and picked the 3 best ones to go into the Games Together vote. And I'm one of those people. Even if my entry wasn't there, I mean, nobody would be salty about it. Maybe partially, but not too salty. And we would get a guarantee that the entries that are Games Together vote are actually implementable. And even more so, which is even more important in my eyes, that they fit the vision of this game that the devs have for this game. Which is like the most important thing. The thing that Endless Legend needs the most is factions that are, in the developers' eyes, factions that fit the game the most, because it's the developers after all. So it's really important that we have factions in that the devs think might work, instead of having factions that we believe that might work, but in general might not work in fact because they are too far away from the vision that the developers have for this game. Which is actually the reason why I was very confused when this competition actually was a thing. I was honestly expecting the devs to wait until all factions are announced. Maybe not necessarily until they are all playable, but I honestly waited until that even. So I was ever so slightly confused when that was not the case. I mean, I'm very happy that this competition was there. I'm hoping that somebody, someplace, will have a look at Misama and think like, oh yeah, it's an interesting idea. You know, just does this. And even if not, then you know what is going to make up for my loss right now? That I'm going to be very happy about? Is the fact that one user, that's Sovereign by the way, he actually wrote a fanfic about Misama! And his own faction as well, which is obvious because he posted his faction as well, which is an amazing faction called the Legion, which is really cool. But he wrote a fanfic about Misama, even though there was a very big chance that they will not actually reach Games Together vote, and indeed that is most likely what is not going to happen. He still wrote a fanfic. A fanfic, you know what this is, right? It's like a very big chunk of text, which is a story, including Misama. Which is like, it blows my mind. It's like, wow, thank you. It's so nice and reassuring to see that some people actually liked my entry to this point. It's great. It's also a little bit sad because Sovereign was actually, from what he told me, he was 100% sure that my game faction is going to win the Games Together vote when he started writing it. And before he finished writing it, I dropped out of the top 3. That was like, I worried this might happen, and I tried to silently disencourage him, or rather at least make him wary of the fact that this might happen, but it did happen. But you know what, I had a nerve sweet, and maybe other people did as well, and hopefully he will be satisfied with this. If not, then I'm very sorry that he spent a lot of time on something that was simply not coming to fruition anytime soon. Kinda sad, really. It's really sad. It is really sad, in fact. Oh well, move on, I guess. Both of us will have to face disappointments. His faction was also fairly close to the top. I don't think it was in top... I think it is actually in top 10. Maybe not in top 6, however. So, yeah. That is getting very depressing. And this video is actually fairly long, and I cannot concentrate as you may notice, because first and foremost, I did it again. I started talking about faction creation competition, which in all honesty, I will be glad when it ends. Because right now, I just worry too much about it. It's like, I would love to have feedback if people are not voting for my faction because it's bad. Why is it bad? Why people consider it bad? Or maybe is it just because it's in the middle of the pool? Or maybe is it because my faction isn't bad but other entries are better? Or maybe it's because my faction isn't flashy enough? You know, those are kind of questions I keep asking myself when I see how I go downwards in the pool, which is really depressing and not healthy at all. So I really cannot wait for this pool to end. And I hope I will never get something like this again. I hope for more competitions, they are great, but I hope we'll never ever get those pools again. I just hope the devs will be the ones to pick. I trust them to be the ultimate judges, and that was the thing of the past. It is something that they were doing in the past. They were just picking the entries they liked most, and I liked it. I felt reassured that if they pick something, it's the best. And if my thing is not among the winners, potential winners at the very least, then I was like, yeah, I mean, I would be salty, but I was always fine with it. I really was. And now I'm just worried that, oh, maybe, or rather, hopeful still, like, oh wait, maybe, just maybe I will make it to the top still. Maybe I can still qualify, even though it's probably not going to happen, but maybe, right? It's really not a healthy attitude. I would much rather just not know the results at all right now, be completely in the blind, have no idea if I'm doing well or not, and then all of a sudden have the results announced. This would be a sudden shock when I see that I'm not there. I would be very salty and disappointed, and after like what, an hour, I would get over it. And that's it. And right now, it's not healthy. So just because of this, and I know other people are probably thinking in a similar way, so I really think that those pulls are not necessary. You may think otherwise though, which is good. People are supposed to have different opinions. Anyway, I think I'll make this city Rothald my main city, reason being because it has so much population and it will be much easier for me to make a bunch of barrel suits inside of it. So in fact this is going to be the city that I'll use to level up my barrel suits to level 4. I'll just need to put one in this or this spot, which will not be optimal, but it will be good enough. Anyway, I actually got tired after talking for such a long time. I'm still fighting with the sickness and I probably will need to end. So let's wipe out one more faction. It has a Titan! Oh yes, thank you! At the very least we see some challenging opponent, which is nice. For a second I thought the game is going to crash just to troll me, but thankfully it is not going to. So, let's move my units forwards, because as explained many times, I see no way for my units to lose this battle. So let's just meet the enemy face to face and see who is the more deadly one. So let's go ahead and press ready, and then charge in with all my units and see what is going to happen. So the enemy spawned right there, so let's make sure that all of my units actually start moving forwards in such a manner. And then you, I guess, can go over there, and my hero can do whatever she wants, or he wants, as long as he attacks something, which will be good enough. Alright, charging the enemy charging units, kinda amusing, but I think they deserve to die. After all, I actually don't think they did anything bad for me, but they existed, and that is an insult enough to actually be killed. So yeah, let's go ahead and wipe them out. Wow, yeah, I do need to take some pills. So anyway, things are going relatively well. And the enemy is going to die. Where is the Titan though? I really honestly want to see the Titan, because I want to show that to you, because in a vaulted playthrough we are not yet seeing a Titan, and we will not be seeing him anytime soon, so I just want to see the Titan. So Titan, can you please appear? I would appreciate it. There he goes, that's the Titan. He does look, I mean, you can see that it's a robot, but he does really look like a robot. It's an interesting design for a robot, because with this cape and whatnot, it looks slightly more human-esque, or rather human in an exoskeleton than a robot, which is a cool approach, I would say. If it was just a flat-out robotic-like guy, he wouldn't fit this game in my opinion. And this thing kinda does, to a certain degree at the very least. It does have this unpredictable spirit to it, which I certainly do like. Alright, let's see how hard he hits. He hits for absolutely no damage whatsoever. I guess that's because AI was too dumb to actually equip the guy with anything. Poor guy. So utterly useless, so utterly worthless, so utterly dead. I guess we'll just have to deal with that. And I should have moved those guys over here. I couldn't be bothered though, because then I would heal up my Star Wars, and now they're going to be slightly damaged after this battle is over. Still, I think we can safely say that I'm going to win this playthrough, and the last video will probably be the last one. I mean, the next video will probably be the last one. Before we do end this playthrough though, however, we'll still be able to go through some missions at the very least. I mean, obviously we're going to finish off the 4th quest, maybe go in the 5th or 6th one as well. I'll try to rush them as quickly as possible. So, just to do just that, you just, well, you just continue walking forward to fight the Mad Fairies. This city, well, it does need to go ahead and grab those 2 upgrades, because hey, why not? And with this dust, oh, I already bought the barrel streets over here. But I actually don't have enough dust, oh wow, that's a wicked number, to buy out more population in Rothland, or whatever it's called. So I'll sell our population over there. You just, what on earth? Oh, it's a seller. I'll just die, I don't need you. Poor guy, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna sell, oh, he's dead. Poor guy. Anyway, quarry done in the next stand, so that's good enough. Was I supposed to do anything else? Not really, so I'll just say my outro right now. It was PANCZASU, also known as the Mighty Mix Power. If you somehow managed to enjoy my videocast, then please by all means like it, leave a comment as well, because it helps me greatly. Thank you very much for watching. Where should I settle? I mean, this isn't a bad spot. Yeah, let's go over there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you online.